Is this what you want? Yes or no? Yes.
Oh my.
That's on you.
Give them what they want, give them what they want, give them what they want, they all can get it. Give them what they want, give them what they want, give them what they want, they all can get it. Give them what they want, give them what they want, give them what they want, they all can get it. Give them what they want, give them what they want, give it to them. Cash drive to the hood, but I walk through it. Holding my fucking dick and that's all to it. This ain't no new shit, told you when I met ya. Show some fucking respect, knock before you enter. Betcha, if it's me that's coming to get ya, it's gonna be a bag man on that stretcher. For real, y'all niggas don't know pain, cause y'all niggas don't know me. And well, that's my name. Ain't a fucking thing changed, still the same. Dog got dope but rob niggas. Yo, we mob niggas, why yo, we hard niggas. School street, I rap that. Beat and scar niggas, respect that and step back. Come at me sideways and get laid down where you standing. Bat out with the cannon, so stop all the dirty fucking looks, cause y'all niggas ain't.
Ah, rats, we have the March update at long last. Behold the Extinction Roller, which I think from context might be Lordoss. Not that I'm complaining, that animation was awesome. But boy, oh boy, have there been a lot of changes. As per usual, new stuff's been thrown into the endgame. Looks like we'll be spending some more time with Octogirl for those who are into that. But far, far more importantly, they have redone the intro quests to the game. Not only do we have an extended tutorial now, which was desperately needed, but they've added in a ton of little lore tidbits. Which, I gotta say, I love how much of a sassy bitch Kane is now. He was always fueled by cyborg supremacy and Eurasian angst, but it's just been kicked into overdrive. So if you're a veteran player out there, I highly recommend just stashing your save and starting with a fresh account just to run through it all for the fun of it. Though there are some problems, and I'll get into that. It's something that's important for us to talk about, I think. But before we delve too deeply into the changes, let's talk about the bug fixes. First off, they fixed a bunch of audio cues, which, if you're like me, you didn't really notice in the game, but while editing footage, I noticed all the time, so I'm actually quite pleased. Previously, a lot of sound effects were off by like a half a second to a second, and now the player characters actually announce their callouts when they're out of ammo, or overburdened, which is pretty nice. That is one step closer to a true UI-free gameplay experience, which I am all for. They say they fixed the issue where water thieves would spawn in inaccessible locations and force you to just fail an invasion. That's a pretty big one. I know that made multiple people quit the game, since you would lose everything you had. They fixed the player falling through the world, and one thing I've also noticed is that they've made it impossible to just fall, at least to an instant death. Now you teleport back up to where you fell from, like as you can see here in the tunnels, which is difficult to explain, but okay. They claim to have fixed drones just kind of flying through the world. I'm gonna be real with you, in my playtesting I still saw this happen once, but I will take it on faith that they've improved the problem. They've taken the drone's ability to shoot through the pipes away from them, which is a good thing in the tunnels, and it looks like they fixed the issue where you could trip up and take the falling animation while running around, or landing animation I should say. They fixed some of the wall geometry, allowing me to get out of bounds. It might just be the shithead playtester in me, but I always love finding new ones. And I honestly don't think there's a game that's ever been made that doesn't have at least one. They've made it so that the AI can't spawn units on top of each other, and instead they spread out a little bit, which is a small thing, but a nice improvement. They've improved quest reactivity. Previously, sometimes you would do what a quest would tell you to do, and you just pretend like you didn't. There's one time where I killed like 5 assaulters in Enclave Strike, and still didn't complete it. So hopefully that's been resolved. And they fixed one of the biggest problems the tunnels had, where you would go through and always end up at the same infiltration point. This is huge. It makes running through the tunnels way more interesting to me. The maps are suddenly less predictable, because up until now, it was always the exact same point, the exact same extracts, and the only dice you ever rolled was whether it'd be night shift. So I find this extremely exciting, and I'm quite happy. They've improved enemy spawn logic, which is good for the missing encounters, but I have no idea what an invalid encounter is. They've once again improved the containers spawn so they don't spawn inside walls, at least as often. I actually haven't seen that in all of my playtesting since the update dropped, so I think they've actually nailed it this time. They've done some visual effects changes with the fog during a water thief invasion. It seems they fixed an issue that was plaguing people with the DLC skins for Gunhead, which if for some reason you like those things, great for you, I'm happy. The AI companions have been given a little navigation boost if you care to use them, and quest item drop rates have been improved. Mostly, but not for Europa drone flight control components. And I'll get into that here in a minute. But that pretty much covers up the bug fix section. So let's get to the brand new content. Starting with the new parameters for Water Thief base invasions. No longer do they show up when you run out of water, but instead can trigger when you have too much water. And before any of you get too paranoid, I've been playing a lot of matches at 99 water right now, and they haven't shown up once, so it's very uncommon. And now this vile force of darkness requests a parlay. Obviously the only answer is to gun them down, so it's not really an option at all, but I appreciate the flavor. And that gives Lordoss something to do when he's stomping around, which is awesome. I'm so excited for that. And they've completely changed the new player experience, which as I mentioned is really good, but Alright, it's time that I just talk about the issue before we continue on. On the one hand, the early quests are great. They give little narrative threads and world flavor to entice people into playing more, and they have actual rewards. Like Slade straight up gives you a large item container, which is huge for someone who doesn't have Bundleton yet. Not so huge that it will change the fact that whenever I join a new player's squad, I immediately give them enough water to get to 16 and tell them to go buy stuff from Bundleton. But it's still a really big deal just to let the people know that's a possibility that early on. Then unfortunately there's this quest, Seek and Destroy. Alright, so on the surface of it, it doesn't look that bad, right? And to a established player, this is nothing. But allow me to explain the issues. First off, you have to mark a target, which sounds great and all, but the game does not explain to a new player how to do that. Sure, you and I know that you just press Z. Z! But the new guy won't know that at all because no one's told him, and unless they want to go looking through their key bindings, they're never gonna know. So that's just really bad design. And then you have the problem of the kill count itself, because it does not get retained through multiple raids. So say if something happens and you were to die, which is very likely to happen, especially to a brand new player, well, you lose your items, right? But all of the gun vendors are locked behind this quest. So if you lose the initial AK or USP or whatever you're using, or that rig upgrade, you just can't get it back and you're gonna be stuck using the surplus gear, which is really going to be harsh. Honestly, too harsh. This is releasing sharks in the kiddie pool, which while that is hilarious, if you're tormenting somebody who's already invested and is going to work their way through it, people are going to play, they're going to get stuck into this failure spiral, and they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to quit the game.
And that is the quit moment.
And this happens so early on that they're probably just going to refund it and never play again. We're going to lose people. I don't know about you rats, but I love the Forever Winter a little too much to want to see that happen. So I'm hoping this gets cleared up in hotfix. And soon. Hell, just remove the requirement for it to be on Scorched Enclave and make the kills count regardless of how many tries it takes. That'll be a huge leg up for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. And then there's the next quest. Listen, Kane wants you to kill European drones, right? That's not the problem. That part's easy. The problem is the drone components. Their spawn rate's way too low. I probably looted 10 European drones to get the 3 required. Add that to the fact that they don't even share the same name as the quest says. It's not a component, it's a flight controller. It's enough to confuse someone, and this is going to frustrate the hell out of new players. This quest also needs a fix pretty badly, not quite as bad as Seek and Destroy, but honestly I think the only way to fix this is just to take the drone component requirement and ditch it. Just make it a kill count. But hotfix or next patch, this needs to be fixed, because this isn't a good onboarding system. This is hell.
Hell? Oh no, you flatter me. This is merely super jail.
Alright, back to the new content. They added a new innards upgrade and quest line with Octo Girl, which is lovely for people who love playing with dolls. We got gunship HKs, which is terrifying and awesome. I'm glad I'll finally have a worthy opponent, by which I mean I'm gonna get my shit pushed in.
You do better than that. Come on, squeal! Squeal!
HKs now trigger when you hack into objects, which is cool. Makes a bit more narrative sense than just having the opals drop in on you, though they still do that. The loot economy's been updated, and by this they mean that they've changed the names of the containers. So now they actually reflect which region you're in. They've ranked them A through D, with the potential loot getting better as you go. For instance, I've only seen mass gun parts in D containers. But for the multi-tools to make the ammo, those seem to have become really common, at least in civil good containers. So for people who like shooting unkillables, this is fantastic news. Brawlers and EODs now drop more of their unique drops, which is great because those sell for excellent amounts and are quest items. Ammo prices have gone down, which will make things easier for players that are less fabulously wealthy than I. And once you get the personal quarters, now you spawn in them. So whenever you exit a raid, you show up in your house. Which, okay, you're further away from all the terminals, but I guess you get to see your displayed items, so that's cool. And the railgun has been given a damage boost against the Stilt Walker, so it'll be easier to knock parts off of it, which is nice. I only wish we could still use the railgun solo. They've also given us a new animation for the the exo equipment, which is hilarious. Look at it. Flippity bibbity jiggledy dee, bibbly bobbity flippity boo. My legs can jiggle and yours should too. Yeah, they've given me something else to clown on. Taking that together, I do have my subjective ranking for the patch. The new systems updates, like the improved water thieves and the entry point fix, that's getting a 10 out of 10 for me. I love these changes. I think they really add a lot to the game. Same goes with the loot container clarifications. I think that'll help a lot of people out and make talking about strategy for the game easier. Then for the new user experience, listen, I want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I really love what they're doing. I know I complained a lot about the issues I found, but I think this is 100% a better direction, but I can't overlook the problems just because I know what they're going to do to someone. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to call that a 5 out of 10 with the knowledge that it'd be a 10 out of 10 if there's a hot fix that resolves these problems. And I will post in the comments and pin it if they do. As for the new animation, I'm going to give that like a 7 out of 10. I like it because it's funny and wacky, but I know a lot of people are probably going to think this looks pretty dumb. But altogether, I think this patch passed the vibe check. And with that, my good rats, I think we've covered just about everything. I'd like you all to give a huge shout out and thank you to my wonderful patrons listed here. This channel is entirely viewer funded. No sponsorships, no ad revenue. And everything that they donate gets invested directly back into the channel. Right now, all donations are going to saving up for a new microphone so I can sound a little less awful. If it's good enough, maybe I'll start being accused of being an AI. Won't that be wonderful? All right, rats. Love you all, and I hope to see you out there. Let's have a wonderful April with the new patch.